Okay, I don't know what I've just done. I may have just recorded about an hour's worth of photos instead of work. I've done this. Hi, I'm Tangles. This is my garage and this is my car. Well, YouTube, we've got some work to do. The diff's done. I'm happy with that. Now the wing. I've already taken it off, but I've had to put it back on because I need to know exactly where the wing sits in the neutral position, which is about there. So to the bumper to make sure it's still there when I make the brackets. So I need to take a few measurements, relative measurements from these, because I've got to coat the aluminium plate to suit the profile of the wing as well. So step one is we just need this measurement here. We need to know how far that is apart so we can trim the material down to a workable size and coat it to suit the profile of the wing. If the bracket extends past by 20mm and back by 20mm, we have a total of 150mm. So 2 bits at 150 will get me the brackets. Once I have them fixed to the wing, then I'll fix it to the wing first, and then I'll play with mounting it down here and how I'll get variable angles out of that. Okay, now I've cut my 2 pieces of aluminium. I need to trace that contour on the top side because I have to follow it here, and as you can see here, I can't quite get up high enough to get both those bolts in, so I need to take out about 10mm at the deepest point. What I do on this one, I'm going to copy on the other side. I'm going to stick them together and do it the same. So let's do that. I don't know if you can see that. And it's all going to be removed. Well, not all of that. It's a bit more than I need. So I'll take it halfway to that line, I think. I've just clamped these 2 bits of material together, nice and tight. They're nice and flush and square to each other. And I'm just going to start removing material. The angle grinder is perfect for this job. If it's steel, I don't have any softer wheels than this. Aluminium tends to gum up these steel wheels, so despite it being softer, it's actually harder to work with because abrasives, it just fills up the abrasive and it glazes over, so you've got to be pretty aggressive with it. The other thing is I've just fitted that wheel, so it's going to be a bit wobbly, so let me grab a bit of steel to rebalance that wheel. So when I say balance the wheel, I literally mean balance the wheel. These sit on here and are done by hand. They're not perfectly round, they're not perfectly centered, sorry, on the shaft, so it'll be slightly out of shape relative to the center of that, so it needs to be smoothed off. Now sometimes it'll be really a long way out, sometimes it won't be. So if you've got final work to do, it pays to just knock the edges down off the wheel on some scrap material just before you put it on. Because if I bung it on that and it's a long way out and it grabs it, it's just going to be difficult to work with. It might take a chunk out where I don't want a chunk. So yeah. It's actually pretty good. So make sure I hit the leading edge and the face on the underside, and yeah, it's fine. So nice, fogged up. This pair might be a bit better. Now remember, these are an angle grinder. They're designed to be operated on an angle, so you shouldn't be using the flat face unless you're basically polishing. They're designed to be used on the leading edge. Oh, you can see here, maybe you can, all the, probably no light, all the little bits of aluminium on the wheel that are gumming it up. So being more aggressive takes more of the wheel away, which clears that aluminium off. But still going to take a little while. Ooh. There's a hot bit of aluminium on my thong. That's the finished sort of product. The light's a bit shitty up here. It's not necessarily finished, but that's about where I think I need to be, and I'll go check that now and see if it gets the job done. No, it's not enough. It will be able to get the holes in the thing, but probably not enough. So a bit more off this end here, and we should be good. Leading edge. Alright, let's have a look. Now, this is looking pretty promising. Bit aggressive there, but that's okay. We could do that. That works out quite well actually. You see that's proud up there. Put the leading edge of that on there. That on there. That whole thing, you can just go a bit higher. Yeah, that's nice. That'll do. Okay, so I'm happy with how this has turned out. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. Now, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a hole in that 10 and 10. I'll just double check that's going to be okay on the car. Excuse me, I'm actually quite sick at the moment, so if I sound a bit funny, that's why. 10 and 10. 10 might not be possible because of the height of that screw. Gonna bust out the ruler. So it's not 10 mil to the center of that bolt hole from the head of that. It is from there. So in which case it needs to be less than 10. Looks like it's about 8, so I'll go 7 and I'll come in 10 from the back. So down 7, in 10. The centers will be 105.5. So 105.5 centers, down 7, and there, and this one will need to be probably the same, 7. 7 mil hole. Gonna get hot filings on my feet. I need a vise. Simple as that. Should have a vise. All this is much easier with a vise. Doing things half-assed like this is just a recipe for disaster. Okay, I should have now functioning brackets. Well, that will bolt to the wing side. They won't bolt to anything else just yet, but that's to come. So there's one last thing I need to get from under here before I take this off. What I need to know is the relative distance fore and aft from this bolt to this bolt, so as I make sure that the wing isn't too far forward or back. Because if I can locate that one, then this one is just a case of getting the centers again. Is it 1/8? No, it's not quite right. I'd say it's 3/16. Oh no, it's going to go further forward. It's halfway between 1/8 and 3/16. So whatever that is, do the maths. And the relative height different is 29 millimeters. Okay, here's my sketch. 29 mil vertical distance, and between 1 and 1/8 and 1 and 3/16, I believe it's 1 and 7/32. So I'll convert that to a metric measurement and use that. Just in case anyone is wondering how to convert a dimension like that into metric from imperial, we take a fraction, which is 7/32, and go 7 divided by 32. Right, that is 0.21875. Okay, so that's the fraction converted to imperial. So we have 1.21875 inches times 25.4. You can go to more decimal points if you want, but it's not necessary. Equals 30.95625, which is 31 millimeters. Rounded. Easy as that. Well, it's good news all around. I've test fitted that. That's perfect sitting on this back edge here. But I've drilled this hole out. It looks like 10 mil. I don't know why. Don't know how I've done that. Well, I do know how I've done that. I've measured it wrong. How I've measured it wrong, I don't know. But now I've got it here. We'll try this trusty old method. See how it goes. Okay, putting a hole in it. Take 2. It lines up this time. This is why you shouldn't work under the influence of cold and flu tabletsy stuff, because that's what I've got. I've got a flu, so I'm not 100% right. But anyway, that's that. So I've got my dimensions for this hole. Now that I know that they all line up, I'm going to take that off. I'm going to drill that hole. That'll give me 3 points, and then at that point, this whole wing will swivel on that hole in there, and that'll be, and I'll have a series of holes, 1, 2, 3, say, to give me my angle adjustment here. My cameraman's home from school, which means I've got hands while I film. I've attached the bracket. to the bottom of the wing. You can see how that all works now. And now, if that fits through there, this will give me the arc. Perfect. And a couple of holes along that line will give me my total adjustment. So, starting from there, which is a fairly low angle of attack. That's a fairly low angle of attack. Coming down to there at the moment. So that's the maximum angle of attack with that setup, and that's probably enough. We don't need this material over here or anything in front of there. Just bolted it back together to hold it all together, so I've only got to do one of these, and we need one hole here. So I wonder if we should go there. So what I'll do is I'll drill this hole, then I will mark the other one. See how we go. Remil plus 7 is 10. I'm only going to have 2 holes. Let's put it on and see how it goes at that. Okay, it all fits. The wing, it all works. So happy days. Now just to make it look a little less homemade, trim the excess off there, and just round it off in general. Make it look a bit less pointy. Scrutineers like round things instead of pointy things on cars that go fast or slow, whichever the case may be. So yeah. I keep threatening to clean up, but I never actually do it now. Advice, my kingdom for advice. Okay, almost finished. Now I've just got to clean them up individually and paint them. Alright, so brackets reattached.